And you thought they were the party of God and country. Republicans are in revolt this morning after Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth have made changes to the military religious code, completely voiding a major religious sect here in the United States. If you care about American service people enjoying their freedom of religion, or if you just need more proof that Hegseth and Trump are both godless buffoons with only contempt for their own voters, stay tuned. There is holy war brewing in the Republican Party. And while it's good and hot, serve up some crumpets. Hot holy tea coming up next here on The David Reddish Show. Welcome to the show, you beautiful viewers. I am your host, again asking you to please subscribe to our channel now. I keep getting messages about viewers who are missing my video drops, and subscribing, as well as liking, sharing, and commenting and so forth, are good ways to ensure you don't miss a beat. Also, to all the viewers who said hello at Pride this year, thank you. It's always a pleasure to meet you. And speaking of wild drinking and latent homosexuality, last week, drunkard sperm bank Pete Hegseth issued a strange edict to members of our armed services. And no, this is not to be confused with his rant about immigration in Europe that he had to commemorate D-Day. Thank goodness. No, this one is just as embarrassing, only he managed to offend Americans as well as our friends on the international stage. Take a look.
Today, I want to update you on two reforms we are undertaking to further make sure we're making the Chaplain Corps great again. In December, I told you that we were going to revamp the military's current faith and belief coding system, renaming it the Religious Affiliation Codes. The previous system had ballooned to well over 200 faith codes, 200. It was impractical and unusable, and many codes were never used at all. An overwhelming majority of the military population used only 6 of the codes. Our internal review committee recommended that going forward, the department use 31 religious affiliation codes. This brings the codes in line with its original purpose, giving chaplains clear, usable information so they can minister to service members in a way that aligns with that service member's faith background and religious practice.
So, in sum, Hegseth, a white Christian nationalist whose preacher does not think women should vote, let alone served in the armed forces, is now doling out lessons in piety. Don't worry, this story has a satisfying ending, so stay tuned. Hegseth now thinks he has the right to, in essence, nullify religions in the military code. Oh, and in that same clip, he now mandates that chaplains display their religious affiliations on their uniform. Does that mean Rabbi will wear a giant yellow Star of David? Gosh, when was the last time someone had to wear one of those on a uniform? I'm just asking. But I digress. Hegseth has cut officially recognized religions down from 200 to just 31. But this isn't just knocking out dubious faith like, say, Jedi Knight, which, as someone who owns 4 lightsabers, I find offensive. No, Hegseth actually just removed a major American religious sect from the code, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, better known as the Mormons. And in Utah, home of most of the American Mormon population, people are not happy. Enter Utah Senator Mike Lee. Taking to social media last night, he issued a harsh rebuke of Hegseth and Trump's little Sunday school lesson, which could signal a much bigger battle ahead. Take a look.
The faith of the American people has always been one of its greatest strengths, as is the fact that the Constitution prohibits the United States government from treating people differently based on their religious beliefs, regardless of what denomination they might be drawn toward, they might belong to, or whether they have any faith at all. It's one of the many things that has strengthened our country, and it's especially important in this circumstance that the government recognize the faith of the men and women who serve in uniform and stand ready, willing, and able to die at any moment as they serve our country in times of war. For that very reason, I think it's very unfortunate that the Pentagon has chosen to identify basically every faith group in America that professes faith in Jesus Christ as Christian, with one exception. That is those belonging to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I find this offensive, not just because that happens to be my faith, but not just because it happens to be the faith of tens of thousands of U.S. military personnel, but it's also just repugnant to any sense of decency, any sense of our common heritage and our common belief that the government needs to not weigh in on doctrinal disputes between various religious denominations. And so I respectfully am imploring people at the Pentagon to reconsider this. Not just reconsider it, but undo it. Secretary Hegseth, tear down that wall. This is not cool. Get rid of it. Get rid of it now. Thank you.
It's nice to see Lee at least trying to take on Trump and Hegseth, though if you ask me, he still comes off a little deferential there. But here's the bigger story, folks. There is an election this fall, and if Trump and Hegseth are now saying Mormonism is not a real religion, how will that play with Utah voters? Now look, I know Mormonism is still controversial. There's a lot of debate as to whether or not Mormonism should even be considered a Christian faith, since it relies on the Book of Mormon, which in places contradicts Christian Orthodox doctrine. But that's beside the point in this story. The United States has a long history of persecuting Mormons with violence. And if you don't believe me, look up the Mormon Wars on Wikipedia. That's another story for another time. Suffice it to say, Hegseth is just rekindling memories of that violence and discrimination against Mormonism, and Mormon service people and their families are not happy. On the other hand, by embracing secularism, the official stance of the United States Constitution, Drinky Pete could have avoided all of these problems. On the other hand, maybe Hegseth is just taking out his revenge on the church for learning how hard it is to get a stiff drink in Utah. Mormons do see drinking as a sin, as well as adultery. Thus, Leaky Pete probably isn't popular there anyway, and that's not counting this mess. We'll keep you posted on how this dust-up plays in the long run, though I'm saying it now, if this somehow ends with Trump and Hegseth converting so they can have multiple wives, I'm gonna go give my toaster a bath. This is the David Reddish Show.